So I did a vocal workshop in Pocket Singers Elite community on dynamics and tone of voice and how you can manipulate your voice to convey a message. And you have to use your voice like a tool. It was a live class with my Pocket Singers Elite members, and I want to share the full workshop with you. I want to give you a little taste of what we do in Pocket Singers Elite. You will get some feedback on your voice. So pretty much weekly, my team of vocal coaches and we host vocal workshops for 1 week, and then the next week is feedback week. So during workshop week, we all teach a lesson on a certain topic, and each month is a little different, and we kind of cycle through the phases. If you don't know what I'm talking about, check out this video. It explains the phases of a singer's journey, and you can determine what phase you're in and what you need to work on. So check it out if you haven't, and then come back to this. So this was last month, and the focus was on tone and placement. And along with that topic, I wanted to talk about dynamics and emotion and how you can use your voice to convey a message. So I'm sharing this workshop replay with you, and there was some cool transformations at the end. Let me know what you think about this workshop, and if you have more questions, leave it in the comments below. And if you want to be part of these vocal workshops and the live feedback, check out Pocket Singers Elite. I'll leave a link in the description. All right, here's the workshop. All right. Do you guys see my screen? Cool. All right, let's get started. Let's get it started. Okay, no more music. This is how to manipulate your tone of voice. So, singing is like learning a new language, right? So our brains are wired to learn through exposure and imitation. It's the same way babies learn to speak. So how do you teach a baby how to speak? They're not reading at the womb, right? So they make little sounds and noises, and it's because they hear you making noises. And maybe their first words come out like mama, dada, based on their exposure to whoever parents there all the time, and they start to make those connections. All right, so same thing. We are still babies, okay? And we're always learning, as you should be. So you learn by active listening, not just listening, let it go out the other ear. Active listening, being able to describe what you hear and to understand why this sound comes out. So you do that through experimenting and through messing up. Because if you don't mess up, then maybe you're not doing it enough times where you're not logging it in. Because, yeah, you might do it great once or twice, but can you consistently keep that up, right? And it's okay to mess up. That's where you learn. Your voice is like a tool. So you can adapt to any style, emotion, or character with your voice. So notice when I speak to you guys now, I add some inflections with my pitch to keep it energetic and light. Imagine if I presented this with a tone like this. All right, guys, so your voice is a tool. Your voice can adapt to any style, emotion, or character. What are you going to assume? She's bored. She's not having a fun time here. And that's what you don't even see it. This is what you perceive, and this is what you hear from somebody's voice. So if you can detect that in my speaking voice, you can do that in my singing. So there's 2 different colors, in my opinion. Actually, there's more than 2. Let me edit this later. It's a spectrum. A less dark voice to a more dark voice. And what I mean by that is like when it's less dark, what's the opposite of dark? It's light, right? So it's in a spectrum. You can adjust your tone to be less heavy. So it's light. Hi, this is my tone of voice. It's light. And then when I start adding more heaviness to my voice, it also makes it more dark, makes it more heavy. You can feel it. It's more powerful versus this is like gentle and soft, right? So be able to visualize it as well. I think that's another way to learn and connect what you hear because you can't see it. So your voice is a tool. Number 1, you can express your emotions powerfully. Number 2, mimic and learn from other singers. Be exposed to great singers because you want to absorb and adapt to the singers that you want to sound like. And you'll be able to change your tone and resonance. So you're not just a singer anymore. Like, yes, phase 1, we're learning how to sing pitches, right? You're not just a singer now with tone because you are also a storyteller. So that's why we have lyrics. So you are attending this workshop. This is supposed to be a course video, but it's going to be put in there instead with this. So I'm performing it live for you guys. Attend workshop week and feedback week, because this week we learned something new, a skill. Next week we get to implement it and you get feedback on your voice. So yes, more content, da 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 da. Again, this is meant to be a course. So how to shape your tone with emotions. Here are the types of emotions. If you're happy, it's like bright, energetic, uplifting. You can just feel and hear it in my tone, right? You can also be sad and darker, more breathy. It's like, whoa, you switched up real quick. It's like you'll be able to feel that emotion because you're going to mirror what you're hearing. And when I'm sad, you're going to be like, oh shoot, something's going on. Strong, snarky, and intense. That shows the anger in your voice. Sometimes this will be good to show more power into powerhouse songs, right? Because it won't make sense if you're doing a happy emotion and tone to a song where you have to be snarky and sassy. And lastly, above all, like, be confident in what you're singing because people can detect that as well. So it's more full, it's clear, it's calculated. And you can fake this until you make this because you gain confidence through experiences as well as kind of putting it in the bag. Like, okay, I got this in the bag. You stack up the evidence that you can do what you want to do. All right, that is confidence. Because if I am more accurate in my pitch, what's going to happen to my confidence? I'm going to be like, I've done it 1,000 times before. And now I'm not going to go into it scared and in fear. So let's try something out. We're going to sing I Love You. Okay, and we're going to follow the keyboard of EDC. So let me play that real quick for you guys here, so that I don't give you the wrong pitch. But you can practice this while muted. Very simple. I love you. Love you. Let me record this just in case I lose it. All right. Okay. Going back to present. So with that, we're going to test the different emotions in our voice, okay? So let me pull it up on here. Feel that pitch, okay? Now, here's the experimentation part. Excuse me, guys. I think I have the flu, but we're going to keep going because it's not too bad, thank God. All right. So we're going to experiment with a happy, bright tone, bright, energetic, and uplifting. You can do this by smiling and be generous with your energy. Like this right now. I have to give you some of my energy so you can absorb it and then feel happy-ish, right? So we're going to sing and a smile. So practice I love you. Sorry, that was the next slide. I love you. Stick to the key. I love you. All right, so that's generous. I love you. And you kind of have to shape out the vowels. I love you while maintaining a smile. When you close your eyes and hear that, I love you, it's like, wow, I think she's smiling. I think she's happy. All right, so with your eyes closed, because I don't think you need to see the screen, I'll just describe it to you. Now, get into this emotion. You hear the change in my tone of voice, right? Your eyes are closed. Okay, so we're going to try a sad emotion. And with this, be softer, maybe a little bit more breathy, a darker tone, heavy tone, and try furrowing your eyebrows and frowning. And sing soft and slow. So here's the key again. Going back to present. Get in that emotion. I love you. I love you. It's a different vibe, right? You feel that? Be able to convey your emotions with your pitch. Okay, so 2 different vibes already. And I feel like you're mirroring me in a good way. You're feeling the tone, and I want you to be super conscious of it. Next, you can open your eyes if you see the screen. Strong, snarky, intense. Like, be able to speak in this way. Like, think of the moment where you're really angry, like something just made your blood boil. You hear it in my tone of voice. It's like I'm about to rip somebody's head off, right? You just hear this now. Now try that with this pitch. I love you. It's stronger, right? So you can shake your head in disappointment, maybe growl, like with sass. I love you. Like you're ready to punch somebody. Don't do it. But you feel the different deliveries now, right? Now the last one. Stand up or sit up, kind of straight. Open up your chest, open up your body language, and you don't want to be closed off, right? This is the opposite. This is not confident. This is an insecure tone of voice. I'm shy. I'm anxious. The opposite, open yourself up. There's like this trick, it's called the Superman pose. That's why I put this visual. Put your hands on your hips. Chest up. And kind of like pretend like you got, this is Mia's advice for me. Pretend you got lipstick on for us gals. And you feel good. You feel good, you look good. You hear the tone of my voice is I'm confident. I'm full, I'm clear, and I'm calculated. Now let's try that. I love you. I love you. Got my hands on my hips. It's a different type of tone too. It brings out more of your natural tone of voice as well. And you just feel strong in it. Because the opposite I want you to hear is like, I'm closed off. I'm compressed. And I love you. My placement's in the back of my throat. Yeah, not so clear anymore. Okay, so what's really cool with singing and mimicry is you learn by doing the opposites. So that's why I coach that way. So open up your body language, be extra precise in your voice. Okay, so practice emotions in every song that you sing. But I hear this a lot. But Zane, I don't want to sound like the artist. I don't want to sound like Billie Eilish. I want to be me. But you won't, trust me. I think that we're so afraid, like as much as I want my voice to be like Billie Eilish, or if I can mimic it as much as I want, it's still not my natural tone. And it's hard to do forever. So I feel like it's okay to mimic, because you're learning through that. But people are afraid to, because they're like, if I do that, Zane, I'm going to sound like Billie Eilish tomorrow. You won't. You probably have a completely different voice. Sure, you might convey a similar style, but your vocal cords, your mouth and bone structure is different from hers. So it's not going to be twinning. And even so, anyways, you just won't, I don't want to get into that. You won't. So don't be afraid to mimic what you hear. That's hindering your learning. And I hear this often. So everyone hides from their natural voice. So here's something I noticed. You've been told something growing up or recent that kind of shut you down and closed you off from so many different parts of your voice. So they make you question what is right or normal. I wrote it in quotes. I've heard this from many of my students before. They were told they sound like a dude, or they're too loud, too manly, too feminine. You can't sing high notes. You're so quiet. You sing bad. Like all of these subjectives of their voice, right? And so what I noticed, they explain this to me. What I noticed when I hear them sing, their voice goes the complete opposite. So they were told, they sound like a dude, so they avoid low notes. You're so loud, so now they sing super soft. Your voice is too manly, now you intentionally speak higher and you just avoid any dark tones in your voice. You can't sing high notes, so you avoid high notes. You're so quiet, now you overproject to be heard. You sing bad, and then people don't sing at all. Does this resonate with anybody in this room? And you can be honest, because same. Okay, cool. Not cool. I mean, I'm sorry that it happens, but I want to change that narrative in your life as best as I can, because it's not fair. Some of us were exposed to people who let you sound any way you wanted to sound without any judgments. It was a blessing. It's great. It's a great thing to have, but not everybody started off that way. And so we have to also be empathetic and understanding of each other's voices in this community, because we were all brought up in different ways. And be considerate. You know, we're all here to grow and support one another. All right. So keep that in mind. Let me breathe a quick breath. Hold on. I'm really trying over here, sweating. So yeah, don't shut that door, you know? For me, there's a personal story. I was 12 years old, and my dad, he questioned when I was singing on stage. I was confident singing Celine Dion songs, not nervous at all. He asked me, you're not nervous? Like it's supposed to be the normal thing. Now I'm a kid. I didn't know that, oh, I should be? I didn't know. So from that, I went the opposite way. Ever since that, I was nervous every single time I went on stage, and I was shaky, and I experienced things that I didn't experience before. And it's like that innocence was broken. It's like you experience the world is like more harsh than you thought. And yeah, you got to protect that inner you. So with that being said, you need to experiment with your voice more. And it was supposed to start when we were young. So we probably had good reinforcement when we were younger. So you were able to experiment with your sound and they didn't judge you. But like I said, some people experienced this reinforcement. They experimented with their sound. They were scolded by their siblings or their parents. Don't ever do that again, or shut up. Like, it's gonna stay in your brain. Again, you absorb everything. There's no way to filter it out, the good and the bad. As much as we want to, it's really hard to separate. So we have to accept all the emotions, right? And you have to do that inner work to kind of be okay with where you're at. Be okay that, okay, I'm not going to sound the best right now, but I'm not going to stop because of that. So, just like a kid, they test you as a kid. Your mimicking skills. Mimicry. What does a bird say? If you said oink oink, and then you get scolded, it's like, dang, I can't ever get anything wrong, right? It's as funny as it might be. It's like, it's kind of sad. So, good reinforcement. What does a bird say? Caw-caw, you do it right. Good job. Even if it wasn't supposed to be a caw-caw, or it's supposed to be a tweet. I don't know. Good job. Great job on playing around with your voice, things like that, you know? So we can be a little bit more comforting now that we know this about growing up. We were all brought up different. So, in my theory, this is why I think there's so many talented, untrained singers that never had vocal training or choruses or anything, but yet they sound so good. They had that innate ability because they used their ears just as much as they used their voice, and they weren't judged for it. So they listened and experimented with their voice constantly. That's what I did. I was self-taught, and now that I can't afford it, I do hire some help. So when you can, I mean, you're in this community, definitely use your resources. And here's a big thing that I learned recently. If you change your environment, it will change your behavior. So if you are, I don't know, in an environment where you can't be loud. Well, you're going to adapt to that. Your behavior changes to match your environment, right? And so, say you can't be loud in your apartment or wherever you're at. You have the freedom, hopefully, to go to a car or an abandoned forest, be safe, and get like a trusted friend. I don't know, but change your environment, and then you can work on that behavior. But it's hard to get unstuck if your environment keeps you in that behavior. Does that make sense? So there are some things you can do. So let's start now and try again. And that's why this community was built, because we can meet up technically, virtually, any time of the day and have that safe space to experiment with our voices and not be judged for it. And whenever somebody does, that's when, you get the boot. And that's where I draw the line, because I'm trying to protect the integrity of this community. And like, as nice as I can be, I have to think about the greater good. And so I had to do my part sometimes in this community where I'm like, yo, you got to chill. No judgments. This is not the zone. So learn to mimic what you hear. And that's why I noticed something. So I added this recently. Exposure therapy in the practice room. So I noticed when there is more people sitting and listening, even if they don't sing, they become a better singer. So it's just going back to that childhood where you grow up hearing so many different things. Maybe you try it, maybe you don't, but it changes your whole perspective. You have a different environment now, even online. Growing up, you probably had a quiet household. So what happens? You become a quiet person because you're adapting to that. So now you have this crazy practice room where people are just singing of all different levels. And before, there's two options. One, some people say, oh, there's too many good singers in here. I'll never be like them. So I'm not going to show up. I don't want to be surrounded by this because it'll demotivate me. There's the same type of person who joins that has a different outlook, same type of skill level. And they say, wow, there's so much talent in here I can learn from. If you could be in a room with Steph Curry and you are an amateur basketball player, would you not want to watch, listen, and take what you can? Of course, because you want to learn, you want to grow. And so just even listening, active listening, makes you a better singer. So now here's another fun thing we can try. Play with the relationship between your placement and the emotion. So last workshop, we played around with our placement. Now let's play with the emotion. So with chest voice, pair it with the emotion of a strong, grounded, and intense type of tone. So it'll be good for powerful and dramatic emotional songs. So think about that every time a song is strong. Think about your chest voice. It's close to your speaking voice. Hey, and think about the placement, right? Ha, ha, forward. It's strong. It's grounded. Hey, 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 ha. It's strong, right? So another way that you can manipulate your voice, with a head voice falsetto, pair it with this emotion. So to convey a gentle, ethereal emotion, light, airy, and delicate. So you can hear me speaking like this, like, hi, I'm like a feather, and you sing random words, and just think of that flow. That'll be the next workshop with me. I love to talk about flow, because sometimes we got that stop and go type of flow, and yeah, let's keep going. Oh, gotta catch my breath. Okay, so another placement to play around with, mixed voice. This is good with the resonance of both your head voice and your chest voice. So play around with the light, airy tones and the deep, powerful tones. So what's cool with the mixed voice to show emotion, it's like that transition in a song where it's like you're not trying to powerhouse with your emotion and you're not trying to be super soft. It's like usually that build up, and we'll talk about that in a bit. So that's when you can use that mixed voice, and that's not here, and it's not here, is ha, 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 find the middle, mixed voice. Yeah. So practice this daily. Choose any song that you want to work on. Identify the main emotions. See if the emotion changes from start to end. Determine the placements you need to convey that emotion and mimic what you hear. So don't go straight to the karaoke track. I want you to be actively listening to the artist. Pay attention to their tone of voice, because now that you've built, hopefully, you had a whole month to, that muscle memory for your pitch accuracy and consistency, the next is like, okay, I'm good on that. Now it's like, how do I deliver that? Mimic the volume, the dynamics, the pitch, inflection sometimes, all of that combined. All right, that's your tone. And again, maintain that pitch and key. It's simple, but people won't do it. They won't do it. They sound stiff. And when I say stiff too, it's like statue-like. I'm off the deep end, watch as I dive in. I'll never meet the ground. Sure, I'm hitting the notes, but where's the power? Where's the emotion behind it? It's stale bread. So you can change your volume to change your emotion. Okay. So I'm kind of breezing through this so I can answer questions at the end. So I kind of forgot there's questions in the chat probably. But if I speak loud, what do you associate that with? Strength, power, maybe anger, control, like control as in I'm in control of this situation. Confidence and assertiveness. So think about the song. You can always refer back to this PowerPoint too to connect, because yes, we understand these things like, yeah, duh, Zane, that makes sense. But have we ever connected it to music in our singing voice? Probably not yet. So here's that exposure therapy. If I speak soft, what do you associate this with? Gentleness, maybe powerlessness, confusion, soft, hope, like I'm building up, hope, maybe shyness, passiveness. You hear that all in the tone of your voice. That's how you know when your mom or your dad is mad at you. They can say the same word, like for example, your name, let's say Patricia. Sorry, I just see you right there. So if they call you on the phone, Patricia, it's like, oh shoot, what did I do? They say, Patricia, anger. Oh no, Patricia, changes the tone. So that's something you, even in sales, they talk about the tone of voice. So important. So here's how it plays into a song. So a song plays with the volume to convey the emotions. So sometimes the instrumental, it'll fade in and build up, and it'll crash and go softer. So it's not just your voice sometimes. So in verses, what I noticed, they play around, okay, this is fast. In verses, they start off soft most of the time. If it's not a pop song, literally pop, it pops in your ears sometimes so that you remember it. So sometimes, like a ballad, you start off at a soft touch, right? And then you build up, and then the chorus, you become a little bit more punchy, like a soft punch. The chorus, you're building up. Then after that, you go back to the verse. So you go back, Oh, yeah, I was having fun there. So that's like how I see songs. You'll notice it now when you're actively listening. You'll see that build up in the instrumental. Now, mimicry, mirroring. Try to mirror your voice and your volume to match the song. Don't be so caught up on the pitch anymore. Now it's like, that's why I wanted you to be so in tune with that, so that even when the key changes, like you're good on that. Because when you get louder, sometimes people change their pitch. So that's where I'm like, we gotta go back and refine those skills. So in a song dynamic, you go back into the second verse, gets softer again. Maybe not too soft like the beginning, but like down here, right? It's all in the spectrum. So then you go back to a chorus, maybe even a little stronger of a chorus. Now that big punch is that bridge, because that's the part where it separates from the song, and it's the climax, they call it. So that's why sometimes the volume's very strong, like red light, stop signs, or any bridge you can think of. Like it's very punchy, it's very catchy too. It's a little different. And then usually what you notice, to make that bridge even more punchy, you have to contrast that with a softer punch. So notice after the bridge, what do singers and artists usually do? They come back down in volume. So, I know we were perfect, but I never felt this way for no. You get it. So it goes from that punchy sound and then quickly back down, so that it moves the listener. You're moving with them. And that's a little touch on songwriting too. So whenever you're building a song, think about how you can move the listener, not just through words, but in the way you convey those words. All right? Making sense here? So yeah, if Olivia Rodrigo, I can't speak, Olivia Rodrigo, red leather, yellow leather, if she kept the volume up here, like, after red light, stop signs, I know we were perfect, but I never felt this. If she stayed up there, then it's just like, I've been here for a bit. I'm like, I'm uninterested. But you change the mood when you change the dynamics. All right? All right. So I forgot what I did here. Soft touch. That's explaining each side. Okay. Anyway, summary. To manipulate your voice, you express emotions dynamically, so the volume changes. That's what dynamics is all about. You build up or you build down. Mimic and repeat what you hear. This is the best practice for learning how to sing. Don't just wait for a coach to do it for you, because what they're doing is mimicking and repeating the song that you're asking them to teach you. Right? So sometimes you do need a middleman. Sometimes you can do some things on your own. And when I was self-taught and doing things on my own because I couldn't afford it, this is what I would do. I would literally put headphones in even while I sleep, thinking that I could and would fall asleep absorbing like the dynamics in Mariah Carey's voice. And so when I was 15, learning whistle notes and all of that, that's what I did. I didn't sing. I would just ear train. And you learn from the best. You try to. So listen, like if you're thinking about ear training for your favorite artists, listen to their live performances, because that's more realistic. It's less polished. It's more raw. Hopefully, not just like the studio live versions, but live like in concert. Just see how they move their voice and their breath control, all of that. Now adapt your tone to the song. Be able to mirror and mimic. It's not a bad thing. That's how you manipulate your voice. All right, if you like this, and I hope you do, all the other courses, I need to record them for sure. But you can leave a testimonial, maybe a little, I like Zane's PowerPoints. That would be very nice and kind. And here's the quote of the day. The tone of your voice can be as powerful as the words you sing. And that's what makes a song unforgettable. Can't speak. Unforgettable. by Miss Adele. She said these words, and it makes sense. She has so many hit songs, and it's not just the words, it's not so much the lyrics, but the power in her voice. So, mimicry, make me cry, mimicry, mimicry, make me cry. All right, and that is my presentation. What time is it? Cool. Now, question time. Let's see what you got. That room looks oddly familiar. Sorry, John. Hello, hello. Da, 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 da. My friend taught her kid a chicken says roar. That is cute. We listen and we don't judge that TikTok. We listen and we don't judge. Okay. Da, 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 angry. Get the listener into an emotional journey with the song and your voice to experience that connection. Exactly. It's all about the listener's experience, right? And so don't be distracting with it either. But you can have fun with it. Questions. Guys, anybody want to practice their tone of voice? Oh, almost choked. Anybody, before I call people out? Anybody want to
I
sing?
have a question.
Ah, at the Anna. Hello. Yes.
You're
I
so
had to
good. Your ears are
find your
so good.
face.
It's like there's 19 people here. You can recognize the voice right away.
Yeah, I
Okay.
had to. Yeah, I was like, I know that voice.
Yeah, I was gonna ask. So
Yes.
by applying emotions, dynamics,
Yes.
mimicry, and then you talk about placements and all that experimentation, will that
Yes.
eventually help you find your singing style?
Yes. I think that it's a really good question. I think with all of that, it'll lead you to the next phase, which is I feel like it'll help you find your singing style even more when you develop control, like full tongue control, learn the skills of riffs and runs and vibrato, because that's where you can really spice things up. Because that's where you have a little bit more creativity because whenever you sing it's very close to your natural speaking voice, which is kind of what you're born with. So there's some wiggle room there that we can play with, like the volume, the emotion, but to really make that special and dance and have some sort of style, memorable style, that's when you add also the control aspect. I do want to say though too, when you're finding your style, right? That's what you're asking, your style for
Correct. Yes.
singing.
Yeah.
You have to ask yourself, um, if you want to develop a style that is very memorable, you kind of have to go outlandish. You kind of have to do something that is not what most people would do and make it work. Or because most of the time I think the style is just a prettier sound or a refined sound of your natural voice. So I think you'll find it there with placement, like finding your natural tone and natural style of singing. And then, like I said, with the control aspect, that's when you can dress it up even more if you want to. So that's when people take it to the extremes, and stick out. But some people don't want to do that. So, yeah, I think just more experimentation, you'll find it for sure. And make sure, like, a good litmus test to that is, does it feel comfortable when I do this style? Because I could fake a style all day long, but I can't keep it up for a decade, probably, because it'll probably damage my voice. So stick to what is close to your natural. I
Yeah,
hope
just
that
want to
answered.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably another a comment and a question
Yeah,
after that. I
for
think
sure.
what you're saying is very important because a lot of us don't like our natural voice, right? But
Yeah.
that's a given. But what would you say to those people who are beginning, right? There's a lot of us here who are in that phase as well. What would
Mm-hmm.
you say? How? Because a lot of it would be critical, and that's probably would affect your tone and how you sing. What
Right.
advice would you give?
So to make
What is
sure
it?
I'm answering this right.
Yeah, embracing the
Yeah.
natural tone of your
Yeah.
voice.
Like that's the tough part that I'm still listening and hearing everybody's opinions on this because you, whenever we sing, we're more critical. But whenever somebody else hears us sing, they actually really like it. And I think we just have to come to terms and accept as well that as perfect as you can go through all these phases in your singing journey, have a great sense of pitch, great natural tone of voice, like musically, and good control, there are still going to be people who have sensitive ears to your singing. Like, for example, your favorite artist has a good amount of haters as well as lovers. And even if people at that caliber have it, we have to understand too in our journey it's going to happen for us as well. And the person that matters the most is your love for your own voice. And like there's no real answer to that except for acceptance, slowly accepting and less rejection about any sound that you make as you're learning, right? And so that's something I noticed with some members where they're quick to reject what they did. And I just immediately think I'm like, maybe that's what they were used to, right? Maybe somebody shut them down as soon as they tried something that wasn't normal or sounded normal, right? But that's where you learn the most. That's where you grow the most. And so I think finding ways to accept, and it just takes more time. I just recently started to enjoy the sound of my voice. I still am critical, but I never try to invite those words in my head like I suck. Never say those things because the second you do, it's like that compounds and then it builds on top of that and then you just slowly start to plant that seed that you hate your voice even if you're getting better. So, hope
Sounds
that
good.
answered.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Beautiful voice, by the way. And I mean that. So, anybody else have questions about their tone of voice? Actually, anything at all, or would like to sing? Now is your chance
I have a
because,
question.
yes, many. What's up?
What, how often from like your observations that a like a master singer
Hmm.
incredibly changes like tone from like warm to dark to bright while performing? Or is it just dictated by like the song? Like are they predominantly singing in an airy tone throughout with hints of,
Ooh.
or are they like literally switching between all five? Like I get that it
Uh,
can be different per person, but I'm curious to hear your thoughts on that.
so, are you talking about the skill level or the creativity level? Because there we have to acknowledge both sides to that because some people have that creativity where they know how to move it.
Hmm.
Some people just have that skill level on top that they're calculated, but they're not following the emotion. It's hard to articulate this, but
Yeah.
um, with skill, you can be so skilled. And I had this conversation with Nanita. It's like you can have so much skill and precision and be a perfectionist, but you could be lacking the emotion. And then you can also have the emotions, but it's not going to sound perfect. And you have to accept either one. It's hard to blend the two. You can do it
100%.
as best as you can, right? But then I think one takes over the other. And it's such a hard balance. I think what I personally favor more as an artist or like on the creative side of it is like somebody who is so confident in their voice, they love their voice, that they focus on the emotion to move the crowd and still can sound great even with those minor imperfections.
Mm,
You know what I mean? And
100%.
it's control overall. I think that's the hardest part because
Hmm.
you can be so controlled in a controlled environment, like sitting at home alone. But then as soon as there's an audience, eyeballs and heartbeats, it's like, gosh, I hope you're constantly in your head. I hope they like what I'm doing. So
Mm.
now that's affecting that side. So I'm kind of rambling. Did
No,
that
no, no,
answer?
no, no. It makes sense.
Okay.
So like when you
Yeah,
said
yeah.
the I hope that they're liking it, it's like
Hmm.
is that prefaced with like if that thought is consuming the person's like ability to be creative or skillful?
Yeah, it like
Okay.
hinders, it
I
like
see what
gets
you're getting
in the
at.
way. You
Okay.
know what I mean? So that's why I see two things. It's like as a singer, it's like you can follow the emotion or the skill level. But that's why I want everybody to build that muscle memory so that
Yeah.
when you do just focus on the emotion aspect, that you can just trust and you build such a reliable voice that it just follows with you.
Hmm.
Like, of course, there's going to be a few cracks in the road. Maybe you cry and then you crack a note, but then
Hmm.
people see that as like, I loved that moment because like you just were so vulnerable.
Mm.
You know what I mean? So
100%.
I think too, it's just preference overall. That's my personal preference whenever I hear somebody sing. I would prefer like that emotion because it's so moving. Because like we, there's so many skilled singers out there who are very technical and almost perfect, like AI robots. But I
Hmm.
think in the world we live in, where that's becoming the normal, I think we need to be also showing that side of us that is human and that we do mess up and that we still laugh about it and just have fun and not lose that passion, you know? Yeah.
For sure. For sure. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Wow, that makes you think. I love that question. Does anybody else have questions or wants to sing? Yes, Gonzalo.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello.
I
Mm-hmm.
would like to sing because
Let's do it.
Oh.
because of the tone of voice. Yeah.
Okay, yeah, let's do it. What song are you singing?
So I really thought of what you told me about like picking a comfortable song,
Mm-hmm.
and it's so I've picked a Budapest. It's Budapest and Suede that I'm most comfortable songs right now. So I'm
Yes.
gonna do a bit of Budapest if that's okay, because my tone is really I really need help with my tone.
Yeah, before we get into that,
Mm.
so when you say I need to work on my tone, what is your goal for your tone? What are you looking to improve
Well,
that you can hear?
but does it tie a bit with the emotion as well? The tone it does, you know?
Mm. Okay, so
Yeah.
we were going to focus on emotion over everything. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Should I just do?
Oh yes,
I'll.
I was ready. I was ready to,
Oh, okay.
dive. Yeah.
Okay, I'll just do the first four lines.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm. My house in Budapest, my hidden treasure chest, golden grand piano, my beautiful Castillo, you.
Ooh. Oh, are you going to do that part?
Oh, I
Ooh.
can't do that. Oh, you. Oh, I'd
Okay.
leave it all.
Okay, let me play the song on my end just to see how he's conveying his emotions. Have you ever seen him sing it live?
Yeah, he seems a bit sad.
Okay. So let's do this training exercise.
Miles from Budapest, my hidden treasure chest, golden grand piano, my beautiful Castillo, you. Ooh, I'd
He
leave
looks
it all.
nervous. Oh. To me,
My acres of land.
I think he's having fun with it. Not, I don't see the sad emotion. What's the lyrics say? Budapest lyrics. So it's good to see people perform it live because you get to watch their body language too, their facial expressions, and then let's look at the lyrics. My house in Budapest, my hidden treasure chest, golden grand. I leave it all. My acres of land for you. I leave it all. Okay. So it seems like the overall emotion is like, I'm excited to leave this because I choose you over all the things that I value, unless I'm taking this the wrong way. Do you see what I'm saying though? It's like you can see his
Yeah,
body, it's like he's kind of pop into
House
it.
in Budapest,
It's
man.
like
My
I'm
hidden
excited.
treasure
Mm,
chest.
mm. It's like I'm describing all the things that I value most in life, but even on top of that, you're above it all, right? I'd
yeah,
leave it all for you. So think about all, like, you really have to storytell here and think about your own personal life because that's his life. How can you connect that to your own so that your voice has an easier way to connect to this song as well when you sing? So think about all the people, all the things that you value, like that you can't live without. And then just imagine you have this partner that just goes above and beyond on top of all of that. Just imagine, like, pretend like you're in this music video. I learned this tip from Charlie Puth when he's conveying an emotion in his lyrics in his song. He says, I close my eyes and I imagine the music video. So the music video conveys this the song, what it's supposed to be. And so if you close your eyes, I don't know if there was a music video, I didn't look at it, but say this is your own music video, how would you convey this story? So knowing that little pep talk, get into character or get into your emotions, tap into it, and then try singing again.
okay. So I have to be a bit more like happy or content in a
Yeah,
way.
it's like it's the moment like you're getting ready to go on vacation. It's like what's that feeling? Like,
Oh yeah,
ah,
okay.
you know what I mean? Like, I'd leave
Mm,
it all. My house in Budapest, my hidden treasure chest. It's like I'd leave it all for you. Think about
yeah,
it like that.
okay. My house in Budapest, my hidden treasure chest, golden grand piano, my beautiful Castillo, you, I'd leave it all.
There you go. And it's such a subtle thing. Like once you get in touch with your emotions as a singer, as a storyteller now, like you can hear that subtle change in your voice because it goes from stale bread to a grilled cheese sandwich.
Mm, that makes sense.
Hmm.
I'll definitely try to think with the like a music video because I
Yes.
haven't tried that yet.
Yeah,
So,
and I will say when I heard you sing this one, I can hear a hint of like happiness because now you're so in touch with your emotions. Naturally, you're thinking of the story and it's making you smile. I didn't even have to tell you, smile, right? It's like I know what smiling will brighten up the tone, but now I'm having you focus on the emotion and you just naturally smiled. So we're going to play that back later and you can hear it. You can feel it. And everybody felt it in the chat. Darat, Anna, Emina, sorry, Emina, and Patricia. So I'm glad I wasn't the only one that heard that because I was like, yeah, I hear that subtle change. So if anybody else wants to try with emotions, I can take one more. Yes, Uthman, let's go.
Hey, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, good. It's more of a question.
Yeah.
So the thing that I noticed when working with Stone, because as you mentioned, one of the important things that you need to have like an accurate pitch, and then
Hmm.
develop a tone. So when developing a tone, like there is some stuff when you do for different one, like larynx, raised
Yes, yes,
palate,
yes.
control time.
Yeah.
But sometimes when I feel like when I replicate the same thing, it feels not as clear as I want it to be.
Mm-hmm. What song do you feel this the most? Like, oh, this isn't as clear.
Let's The best example I believe is, let's say, any of the classical songs, like for example, "To Where You Are," because that's where like I believe tone like can be really clear there.
You said the way you are, just the way you are.
To where you
To where
are.
you are.
Yeah.
Gotcha. To where you are. Josh Groban, right?
Yeah, yes.
Okay. Maybe I will have you sing a little bit after this ad. Okay. Yeah, let's start with like the verse so it's not really testing a range or anything. We can focus on the tone.
Yeah.
So, wait, is that the second part? Did I miss some lyrics?
This is the first part, yeah. Yeah.
To where you are. Okay. Ooh, sorry. Okay. So when you sing that first line, who can say for certain, maybe you're still here? Let's hear that.
Who can say for certain, maybe you're still here?
Can you sing it a little bit higher?
The second line.
Ooh, ooh, ooh.
Who
There
can
you go. Yeah.
say for certain, maybe you're still here?
There you go. That's the right pitch. Now, when you're singing this, I want you to start off softer on those notes because this is the first two lines of the song, right? It's like you're building the story. So Ryan Tedder said this, another course I bought with song making. He said when you're creating like the verse, right, you're laying down the foundation of what the whole story is about. So you're describing maybe an emotion, maybe a thought, and this to me is like a thought. Who can say for certain? Let it make you think, okay? Maybe you're still here. It's like, wow, you're longing for somebody. So if you were longing for somebody, right? I think that I feel you all around your memory. So yeah, you're longing for somebody. You like describe these lyrics in your own words, 𝗪𝘶'𝘀. What is the story about?
Someone searching for someone else somehow.
Yeah?
Yeah, and wondering why they are, like, in a way, like, why you are not here, something like this.
Okay, you got to get deeper. You got to get
Oh my
deeper.
God.
Not just read the next lyrics, right? Because he's gonna tell me that. But how can you like if I were to read this, who can say for certain maybe you're still here? Okay, let's dig deep. Right? This will help with songwriting. This is a good exercise. Who can say for certain maybe you're still here? Maybe let's build up the context. I feel you all around me. Your memories are so clear. So let's find some context words like
Like
I'm
someone
broken.
died.
Yeah, yeah, and like looking at the art, I'm like, wow, looking at the heavens, it's like, what if you are still around me, but you're just not physically here? I still feel you. It's like you start to
sound
tell
broken.
yourself. Yeah, it's like describe in your own ways. It's like, how would this make you feel?
Oh, okay. It feels broken, sad, miserable.
Yeah, tap into that. You got to tap in because that's the only way to really, because I can tell you all day how we can manipulate your tone of voice, right? I think that was the lesson. I wanted you all to connect with the reason why it comes out a certain way, but I want a bigger lesson is to get in touch with your own emotions, to be okay with feeling vulnerable so that your voice just naturally goes there without me saying, darken your tone or think sad thoughts, but let's actually paint that picture. What's a world like with the person that you loved the most? They're gone. Like get into that feeling and the emotion. That's what a true artist does. And like even thinking that like makes my voice shaky, right? So if I were to sing in this, it's like, who can say for certain? It's like I want to cry into it. Maybe you're still here. Like you can hear that quiver in my voice. It's like that's an artist right there. It takes you away from being an amateur because you're being in touch with your emotions. And it's not just like I think my methods are just to simplify it for you guys. But now you're at the stage where it's like this is the experimentation part. Like, if you're ready for it, get in touch with your emotions. Get into that headspace of being sad, actually, and then express yourself in the song. So with that little spiel, try to sing these lyrics, and here's your starting pitch. Ooh. Like feel, actually, for exercise, I want you to close your eyes, feel the music real quick. Feel the music, how it makes you feel, and I'm going to pause it and then just keep singing, okay?
Okay. You can say for certain, maybe you're still here. I feel all around me, your memory so clear. Something like that.
I got chills. I really felt it there because you got out of your head and you really just sat in that emotion and you just let your voice, you built your voice already, all these hours of practice. Now it's like it's your chance to really trust in those skills and just focus on the emotion. See, even John got chills. Wow. Honestly, I didn't think this lesson would turn into this, but it's the truth. I think like the questions that you guys asked me really challenged me to think of it in this way too. I showed you the practical ways to get yourself there, but now you have to flip that switch. You're a singer now. You're an artist. Convey your emotion. That's what's going to separate you from the rest.
Yeah, that's
That was
insane.
beautiful.
Thank
That
you.
was
Thank you.
beautiful. And I'm so glad we got that recording so you can hear. I'm not just bluffing. And John turned on his camera for this too. So, see, I had to stop what I was doing to say that. Aw. All right, guys. That was so fun. Try, last night the theme was breakup anthems and you all were singing your hearts out, but we were all having a good time, so nobody was really crying. I thought Grace was, but she was just wiping, she said, her oils. But I got sad thinking that she was sad. Anyways, try to get more in touch with your emotions. It's okay to be vulnerable, even with the emotions of happiness. But I will say it's easier to get sad than to get happy in a song. Okay, because that's where you really get in touch with your emotions. All right, so have fun, and thank you so much for this. I will see you guys next week. Bye. Oh, wait, you guys are still here. Cool. We're having another special guest workshop on workshop week, and it's about songwriting. So if you want to do some research, he's one of my friends. You've probably seen his singing videos. His name is Dylan Williams. He's great at singing riffs and runs and R&B, writes his own songs. So yeah, he agreed to do a special guest workshop with me on workshop week. I think Eddie is going to do a feedback session for feedback week. So if you have songs prepared or want to ask questions about song making, we're going to do that workshop in feedback week, which is next week. So that's all I want to say. Bye, guys. Thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed that workshop. I hope you learned a lot, and I'm a very visual person. And having these feedback sessions is really cool to help you implement what you're learning. So knowing how to move your voice, I taught Gonzalo and Uthman how to get into the feeling of the song and let their instincts take over, as well as trust in the muscle memory they were building. If you just want to pay for one workshop, we have that now in Pocket Singer's free community. Free to sign up, free to join 100%, and you can start your training with all the courses we have. And if you look in the calendar, you can see what workshops you can pay to sit in. And if you go for more than 3 times a month, you might as well get a subscription because we have those almost daily, except for the the weekend, so we take a break. Me and my team of coaches, sometimes I'll throw in special guests, sometimes we might have substitutes, and if you miss a workshop, don't sweat it. We post the workshop replays and feedback replays in school.com/Pocket Singers Elite, so you have access to that and watch it anytime. It's just as valuable because you get to take that information and you get to try it out yourselves. I was self-taught, so you can definitely do that. Start the ear training and start putting words and visuals and sounds together so you can use that for your voice. If you want to find more ways to control your voice, check out my last video on vocal control.